want to interrupt this regular programming to tell you that Ben Shapiro is incredibly triggered by a 17-year-old high school shooting survivor.
David Hogg came out and was ripping anybody who has taken money from the NRA, and of course being treated with full seriousness by the anchors on this show, even though there is no credibility to the actual words that this human being is speaking. Emma Gonzalez is doing the same thing.
Guys, Ben Shapiro is really upset that survivors of a school shooting are using their victimhood to highlight the message that fewer guns will inevitably lead to fewer gun deaths. And they're also blaming people who are systemically involved with making sure that more people have more access to guns. According to Ben Shapiro, that's absolutely immoral.
Why would we take a bunch of high school juniors and say that these are experts on gun policy now? They're not experts on gun policy simply because their school was targeted.
No one said that they were experts on gun policy, Ben. But it is interesting because this is noticeably different from how you spoke about victims coming forward when it was a movement you and I are both on board with, like the Me Too movement.
You want actual bravery? Tell us who the bad guys are so that we can root them out. If you want to change the system, you have to get rid of the bad guys. And the only people who are capable of making that move are people who are already the stars.
See, Ben, you love whistleblowers in this instance, probably because they courageously expose the toxic, exploitive environment that pervades Hollywood, which is great, and I applaud you for it. I applaud you for asking for more people to come forward. But I also wish you wouldn't be so intellectually dishonest when it comes to victims of another pervasive systemic problem, specifically gun violence. And it's not even the kids you attack the adults even more fervently. Here you are talking about Sheriff Israel, who you want fired so badly, you even started a hashtag for it. A hashtag? Sounds like some social justice warrior nonsense to me, but okay.
If this guy has a job by the end of the week, that is a blight on the state of government in Florida.
And look, before you say you want Israel to be fired for incompetence because his department failed to prevent the shooting, I definitely agree with you there. But let's be real. There have been plenty of bad cops that you carried water for after they killed black people. And also, as far as people fired for speaking their minds goes, here's how Ben presents someone he agrees with.
James Damore is joining us right now. He, of course, was a senior engineer at Google until he made the mistake of penning an eminently correct scientific treatise on the differences between men and women.
Okay, so James can spout off all he wants without being an evolutionary biologist, but when the Parkland kids speak out against the NRA, it's totally unreasonable because they're not experts on gun policy. It seems like there's a pattern here. Very strange. I just can't place my finger on it. It's almost like Ben's feelings on a particular matter drastically changes how he views facts. For example, let's talk about someone else who's criticized the police, Colin Kaepernick.
Now he's promulgating lies for the lapdog media, and the media are just lapping it up.
And no matter how peaceful his protest was, Ben still questioned Kaepernick's sincerity in an effort to undermine him without ever addressing the validity of the points he was making.
Kaepernick is 5 seconds away from being cut by the San Francisco 49ers for sucking at his job. So he wanted to make this headline, and that way, if he gets cut, he can turn around and say the real reason they cut me is because I am such a standard bearer for Black Lives Matter.
Now, Kaepernick never really said he was a standard bearer for Black Lives Matter, and he's never blamed being cut by the 49ers on his activism, although many others have, like Trump, for example. So you're a liar, Ben. Facts don't care about your feelings. And look, Ben, I've advocated many times for you to speak freely on college campuses. As someone who grew up in a country that has no freedom of speech, that jails the most journalists, this is a subject I'm personally familiar with. But thank you for claiming that I don't understand this principle. But what I was simply referring to with the little Twitter battle that we got to is, a lot of times, the freedom of speech hysteria you claim coming from the left is no different than your criticisms I just laid out. They don't like what you have to say, and they criticize you for it. They have every right to do so. So these 17-year-olds have a right to criticize the NRA, just like you have a right to criticize the kids, and I have a right to make fun of you for trying to dunk on a school shooting survivor because he's exposing the horrific corruption of moneyed interest affecting our policies. You look like a fucking dork, Ben. It's crazy to me that at the core of your belief structure is that the left and liberal media won't respect your intellectual diversity, and you believe that your critics should exhibit a certain level of decorum when expressing their disagreement with you. But the problem is that almost any time you discuss the left's dissenting beliefs that you have made a living critiquing, you rarely exhibit any respect for those concepts or the people who speak them.
The easiest thing in the world to do is trigger some idiot college kid who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. You Stephen Colbert, you stupid idiot.
In this video specifically, my issue isn't with your bad takes or your racism or your Islamophobia or your transphobia. It's rather at the very core that you are an absolute hypocrite of the worst kind, and I hope that you realize that, and it gives you a little bit of pause before you decide to shut down another teen speaking his mind on television. Maybe some of your fans who are very angry with me will also come to that conclusion. I'm Hassan Piker. If you're sick and tired of conservatives claiming that they are the real champions of free speech, please share this video with your friends because it exposes them for that hypocrisy. Please don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comment section below because they will be attacking me. And also, please don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Hassan D. Piker, on my YouTube page at Hassan Piker, and on Twitter at Hassan the Hunt. And this has been The Breakdown.